Hi Pisces, welcome to your August 2018 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So Pisces, with some of the other signs, I think I was just doing, Aquarius, and there was this energy in their house of marriage, partnership, and, kind of like that romantic vibe going on because of the Leo energy. For you, it's actually in the 6th house, which deals with health and work issues. It's the house that Virgo rules and is very practical. And so that may appeal to some of you. For some other Pisces people, you may be like, oh, whatever. But I think that if you're looking for a job, because some of you at the beginning of the month may be kind of waiting on hearing from a particular business, or you may just hear out of the blue during the Mercury retrograde and feel this sense of like, whoa, I applied to that place 9 months ago, or I sent in my resume 6 months ago. I just wrote it off and now it's happening. But I think you're going to be in a very practical state of mind. Usually I associate September with that kind of a vibe, but maybe for Pisceans, it's going to come a month early. So you're going to be kind of like Virgos as the month begins in that work mode and thinking about it, and maybe like kind of reviewing some of the looking back and saying, okay, where have I sent out my resumes? With Mercury retrograde, you're going over something. There may be some kind of like snafu, and as I say, this could have something to do with an application you filled out that you didn't do so properly or what have you. Something along the lines of a contract. It could be about your diet, that you're researching things health related to make the most of your health. And so that's coming into the month. And also coming into the month, you have Mars in the 12th house in Aquarius. But it's retrograding, so it's going over old stuff. Now, you rule the 12th house, so maybe you're going over past lives, I don't know, and kind of like doing your own review of them. Okay, why do these things keep happening to me? Well, in this lifetime, I did this, in that lifetime, I did that. So I don't know how that's going to affect you, but when Mars goes direct at the end of the month, I think you're going to be able to kind of tie up those loose ends and kind of get back into the swing of things. On the 6th, Venus is changing signs into Libra. So what this means is that in August, which I think is really great, if you are in a committed partnership, I think that you're going to have a good time of things, Pisces. And even if you've had a little bit of trouble, you can smooth ruffled feathers, because Venus is in that 7th house up until the 6th. So coming from July, if you're listening in late July, this is happening. Venus is in that marriage sector, that committed partnership sector, and things are probably going to be a lot better. If you are in a relationship, you're going to be getting along better with someone. And then the better it gets, the better it gets, because then you have Venus going into the 8th house. So for some of you, this may be like making up with someone or reuniting with your committed, your committed partner, but if you're reuniting, it sounds like somebody wasn't committing to something, or at least you agreed to not commit for a while. But anyway, you're getting back with that person, perhaps, and then you're like getting intimate with them. And I'm not talking about just sexual. I'm talking about romantically. You're really starting to bond emotionally. The 8th house is Scorpio's house. So it's not the surfacey kind of stuff that I think the 7th house is more related to, of like, look, here's the wedding ring. Look, here's the marriage license. But, do we connect on a soul level? Okay. So that's wonderful. It can also, with Venus in the 8th house, and even coming from the 7th, there could be some kind of a, what do you call it? Like a legal situation that goes in your favor, a legal decision that goes in your favor that has to do with an estate, and you could receive money from an inheritance. The next day on the 7th, Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus. This is your 3rd house. Friendly angle to you, Pisces, and it deals with communication situations. So Uranus actually is connected to the internet. This could have some kind of interesting effects. If you have some kind of a YouTube channel or website, maybe it goes viral, and even you can't imagine that it would. But it could be just like strange occurrences that are featured in this particular house with siblings and perhaps neighbors, where maybe you have an abrupt break off, or it's kind of on and off, and especially during the retrograde time, it really feels like a roller coaster ride. Uranus as a transit will definitely shake things up in general, and for all of us socially, as a collective, this will definitely be the case. But for Pisces, when this planet is retrograde, watch out for the tendency to have these kinds of like, I don't even know how to put it, where maybe you indulge in the tendency to be abrupt. This transit is going to provide certain twists and turns when it comes to communication, when it comes to siblings, for the next 7 years. It's a long-term transit. However, you don't have to add to it by your own, putting your own ego into it. And sometimes when Uranus is retrograding, we take things to heart, and we even these things that are occurring where we feel things are up in the air, we can make things a lot more complicated. So let's say, for instance, you do have some kind of success online and you let it go to your head, and you could see it kind of like going up and down, up and down. And so keeping stable, being very discerning with people that you spend time with, even if they're relatives. The 3rd house can be siblings and cousins, I believe. So noticing if you're coming in contact with people and they seem to be a few fries short of a happy meal, maybe neighbors. The 3rd house can be neighbors in your local area. Just being aware is important at this time. And then on the 11th, we have the new moon in Leo, and this is your 6th house, again, with the work stuff. So this could be like new beginnings with work or with health issues. It's a solar eclipse. I think I said new moon because I wrote it down as new moon solar eclipse, because sometimes people hear solar eclipse, they don't know that's the same thing, but it's more powerful than the typical new moon. So beginnings in that practical sector, and how it applies to you, who knows? I would say that even for work opportunities, if you feel like kind of disappointed, if you're really looking for a job, and in the middle of August, it still hasn't transpired, understand that we're still under the Mercury and Mars retrograde. So this could be planting the seeds, and in September, you might see the fruit of your efforts come to pass. On the 12th, Mars backs up into Capricorn, which is your 11th house of hopes and wishes. So first it was retrograding in the 12th, now it's in the 11th. The connection I make between these two houses, Pisces, is that you really want to make something happen where it in the area of your hopes and wishes, and maybe something has eluded you and you can do something. Maybe there's that one thing that you need to do that can make your dreams come true. The 11th house is the luckiest house. So perhaps this is something that can really set you going in the right direction. And just think about that, because you've had Mars retrograde through that 12th house, and maybe you've kind of relived some karma or just gone through some things. And now that's in the 11th house, you kind of know what you need to do. Sometimes Mars retrograding in the 11th house is kind of opening up an old battle with a friend or with a group that you belong to. So watch out for any combativeness or allowing old things to come back and cause some sort of argument. Although you can bring it out into the light of day and maybe resolve it. So that's not too bad. On the 19th, Mercury goes direct in that 6th house. So you can look forward to better communications with work situations, and possible, like if you're trying to get hired, maybe that after this time it's more likely. Resolving any misunderstandings in the workplace, maybe with a coworker or what have you. On the 26th, we have a full moon in Pisces. And that is your first house of the self. So that can be very good, Pisces, for any kind of like letting go of stuff that you need to let go of. That maybe ways that you act that don't help your cause, that don't help to promote you as well as they should. Maybe you'll just, get a haircut or something that changes your look. Who knows? But you're ready to drop something and you're ready to start something new. The next day on the 27th, Mars goes direct in that 11th house. So onward and upward. And maybe you resolve some kind of conflict with friends. Maybe you're ready to go after your dreams more now because you've kind of like done something you needed to do, retraced your steps, who knows. But yeah, so that's what I see for you in August, Pisces. Pretty much a practical month, and maybe a lot of headway can be made in August, even though the retrogrades are alive and well until the end of the month. And then in September, it's like full speed ahead. Okay, well, if you like this type of analysis, please check out my natal chart interpretations where I do this for your specific chart. So, if you're watching for Sun in Pisces particularly, your rising sign could be totally different and probably will be. And that means that all these transits I'm talking about wouldn't even fall in these houses. But even if this is your rising sign, the degree really matters in terms of timing. So I'll link my natal chart interpretation below. I hope you have a terrific August. Take care. Bye.